What's happening, everyone? Welcome to the Legged Sportcast. It's me, Andy Grant, and I am glad to be back. It's been a good few weeks out the studio, but we are back. And this week, to digest the world of sport, I have got Callie, digital artist. How are you doing?
Good, mate. Good.
We spoke about getting you on the pod and involved in it loads, lad, over the years. You are the creator of some exceptional artwork that we've got in the studio. We've actually got some of it, lads, somewhere.
Stuck away in that corner.
We've got stuff. It's not in shot, is it, lads?
Need to get some in shot.
We need to get in shot. We've got the stickers here, lad, as well.
Yeah. Do you know what? That's my old stuff, but I'll have to give you some new stuff, some frame stuff as well for the office. So.
We'll make sure, you've embarrassed me there, lad. We'll make sure it's banging
so
shot.
what, every podcast I go, I went on a podcast last week with John Welsh, and I grew up with John. He used to play for Liverpool, didn't he? And he the first thing he said on the podcast, "You've never fucking drawn me." And I was like, I have. But like 6 months ago, he probably just stuck it in a cupboard. I was like, I feel like cunt now.
But no, right, this week Callie's going to be going through the sport with me, and also there's been a few changes on the podcast. As you know, we've been away for a few weeks. We're back now, and every single week we're going to be doing a competition. This week we are giving away 50 quid. You will have the money in your account as soon as I stop recording on this, and it goes live tomorrow. The winner will already be paid. So we're going to go through some boxing, footy, then I'll do the competition, and then we'll finish off rounding off with some UFC, horse racing, tennis, bit of F1 and snooker. Let's get going, lad. And I think I love TalkSport, by the way. Did you listen to TalkSport this week?
I seen the Eddie Hearn stuff, but I didn't, only clips, but I just try not to listen to it, to be honest.
Why are you one of those scousers don't listen to it?
I just don't like white noise when it comes to sport. I'm more of a technical fan. So all the politics and all that around it.
I love it, lad.
Do you?
You're into that Simon Jordan? I get slagged on Twitter for liking him, lad. I think he's fucking great.
Yeah, he's alright, but he had a good back and forth with him, didn't he?
Brilliant, lad, yeah. So the whole idea behind this back and forth was over the whole Conor Benn, Usyk fight, obviously the failed drug test and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think Simon Jordan had him off, basically. The big thing now that come out of that, which I seen, was like it's just morals versus money.
Yeah.
And they both don't get into bed with one another.
Each other, no.
And the big problem is, so Conor Benn can't fight in Britain because of the boxing board of control.
Yeah.
And Eddie Hearn wants Conor Benn to sit down with the boxing board of control and try and sort out the differences. Conor Benn doesn't want to do this because he's likely to face a 2 or 4 year ban. Mm-hmm. But what it doesn't stop him doing is fighting abroad. So Eddie Hearn on one hand is saying, I want to try and get them together. I want to get them sorted so Conor Benn can fight in the UK. And then on the other hand, he's going, but I'm also going to go make him a big super fight with Usyk abroad in Saudi Arabia and make him loads of money.
Yeah.
So it's like morally, you know he's failed the drugs test. You know he can't fight in England.
He shouldn't be fighting anyway.
He shouldn't be representing him. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But on the other hand, he's like...
He's a cash cow, isn't he? Yeah.
He's a promoter, isn't he? And that's the end of the day. He's there to make his client and himself as much money as possible.
Yeah. And
it's just a bit, though, it can't sit right with anyone. Surely.
No, drugs in sport's just a big issue anyway. But I like Eddie Hearn. I like what he's got to say when it comes to the business side of stuff. So I sort of understand him, but like you said, morally, it's probably hard for him to walk that tightrope of do we just let him go, or when you're thinking of the dollar signs, it's impossible to do. And then you're talking, I mean, what will he get for that fight?
Well, if he goes to Saudi.
You're talking like double-digit millions, aren't you? So it's like
it'd be over 10 mil. I would assume.
Yeah, and what other fighters currently? I mean, I'm not really that well versed on the boxing world now because I'm more of a UFC guy. But like, what other fighters are drawing that amount of?
You're looking at the Canelos, aren't you? The Canelos, the big heavyweights. But yeah, for someone like I think Usyk and Benn, it's a massive payday.
Especially after he's just been
absolutely demolished by Liam Smith. So that's the other thing as well. So it brings into effect now that rematch fight with Smith and Usyk might not be happening because again, everyone's heads have been twisted because of this mega money fight now outside of England, and it just makes you think about
it's just WWE stuff again. It's just like.
But I hate the way, lad. It's not done on merit anymore.
No,
it's done on what's just gonna make more money.
100%, mate. That's why I love the UFC, because it's just. If the best fighter in the world and the second best fighter in the world are ready, it doesn't matter how much money they're going to make, they're going to fight each other. Yeah.
So the other thing as well that was quite interesting with that is obviously they're having the back and forth. The one thing I thought was mad was Eddie Hearn turned around and said that him and his clients, or any of his clients, but particularly in this one, Conor Benn, they do not have a contract where he can terminate it if Conor Benn is found to have, you know, failed the drugs test, which Simon Jordan again couldn't believe. And it's like any
you
business.
You shouldn't need a contract to terminate that type of.
It's kind of like that whole thing of like you bringing this contract into disrepute. You know what I mean? It's like there should be a case where Eddie Hearn can go, you know, you've acted like a bellend basically.
Absolutely.
I'm not working with you no more.
Well, you cheated.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
You cheated. It's as clear cut as it gets, isn't it? Really?
Because it's brought Eddie Hearn's name in the mud as well.
Yeah.
So the fact that Eddie Hearn was like, no, we haven't got a contract like that. I thought that was bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, has it been as tests have come back positive, 100%? Not like a small tint or like.
I think there was two that were positive. And
like overwhelmingly, like, because you can get like tainted supplements and stuff, can't you?
I don't know all the nitty gritty on it, but apparently he's had too many eggs. That was like the fucking the running story with it. High consumption of eggs was basically the story.
I didn't know there was a limit on how many eggs you could eat.
I want to know how many eggs you need to eat.
If someone knows the answer to that before you test positive.
I used to have chickens, you know, lads, and oh my god, we used to get like a lot of eggs, lad. I was eating omelets every single day.
Did you feel well stronger?
I'd eat an egg and start banging out the presses, lad.
Yeah. Did you have to lower them down when you're doing that world record?
No, I didn't say you want me to keep that quiet, lad. Yeah, but you know what, lad, I've spoke about this a few times, lads. I have to get a testosterone injection right after my injury in Afghan every 3 months. You know when I've got it? I do feel fucking.
Well, you will. It's pure energy, won't it?
And
it's like it's testosterone. It's got a purpose, hasn't it?
Yeah, but I'm trying to think when I broke that world record, like, did I get it like the week before? You know what I mean?
It says that. Just edit that out the podcast.
There's me slagging Conor Benn off, and I'm fucking juiced to the girls, lad, running me 10k. But yeah, it was a good matchup, I think, between Simon Jordan and Eddie Hearn. I get why people don't like the pair of them, and I get why people do like them. But I thought it was good to just kind of have two educated people.
I mean, they're perfect guests for Talk Sport as well. The way they were going at each other, it was like what we were saying before. It's like it's excellent television or to watch and to listen to, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
oh mate, I fully had an hour and a half.
Did you
watch the YouTube? My dad fella come in for a coffee, and I said, "I'm not speaking."
I seen the clip of where he was saying you went bankrupt at Palace, and he was like saying, "No, I didn't. It got put into liquidation," and he's like, "No, you skinned at the club."
Well, I've actually read his book. That's why I'm a little bit of a fanboy of him. And
of Eddie Hearn?
No, Simon Jordan's. Yeah. And it was when 2008 the financial crash happened. You know what I mean? He was unlucky, like, do you know what I mean? But listen, the money that he lost, he fucking built a business to 100 million, sold it, and then pumped half of it into Palace. So it was his own money that he lost. Do you know what I mean? Mate, he's got fucking investments everywhere, and
Probably not soft in terms of dough, is he?
No. So anyway, I thought that was dead interesting, and I think the only thing we've learned is that people have got no morals and they will just chase the money. So what they're looking on doing now is having the Conor Benn Eubank rematch in June. Don't know what that'll mean for Liam Smith. Maybe another chance to get on a second world title. Who knows? But I thought that was interesting.
You think so, like, wouldn't you? If that opens up more possibilities for him.
Yeah, he's not hanging around for Eubank no more. The other thing, which is a fucking joke, was the Fury Usyk fight. That's just a absolute.
It's officially off the table now, in it. So
we say that now at Thursday afternoon at 1:20. If this goes live Friday morning and it's back on, it wouldn't surprise me.
No. Yeah, it's probably will 2 or 3 times during the podcast. It's just a drama show, innit? It's just a big drama show, like.
But what I think's happened there,
stumbling blocks that are getting through up in the contract negotiations.
Yeah, it is down to that big time. But what I think's muddied the waters, I think, which no one's really mentioning, and maybe they are, but I think it's more to do with this. Is I think yes, Fury he's been a bit of a bully in saying look the 70-30, then he's saying no rematch, then he's saying yeah rematch, then no again, and
seeing what he can get away with, isn't he?
He's seen what he can get away with, but I think the big thing, what's kind of muddied the water big time, is the Saudi Arabia money. This fight was originally meant to take place in Saudi for like hundreds and hundreds of millions. That's off the table. It's now at Wembley, and so the money's vastly different. Yeah. And I think this fight will happen, but it'll be the end of the year.
Do you reckon?
In Saudi, because if you're fighting and someone said to you, right, you're gonna make, I don't know, 150 mil in Saudi Arabia, then 6 months later they're saying, right, you're only gonna make 50 now in Wembley. you might go, fuck that, I'll just wait.
Yeah, his money just corrupts a lot of it, doesn't it? But I don't think the fight's going to happen.
Ever?
I just think it's another drama show for the news. I think, obviously, they want as much money as possible, but like him and AJ will never happen as well.
That pissed me off more than anything, that one.
Do you know what I mean? It's just, I just bet on fight not to happen now. I'm just like, it's just, if I see a matchup, I'm like, I can't be arsed watching the 6 months of the drama on the telly. It's like handbags, innit?
Yeah.
Like, just get in the ring and fight each other.
Especially when Fury's has got so many clips on social media saying he'll fight for free.
I know, and he's so good though as well. Like, he's in that position for a reason. And he's so good, and everyone wants to see him fight. Yeah, he's sort of coming to the end of his tenure, but he's still the heavyweight champ of the world.
Yeah.
People want to see him fight Usyk.
Mm.
And I don't buy the fact that he's scared of Usyk and he's like trying to put stuff up to like not make the fight not happen. I don't buy that, but Usyk's not scared of him either. So it might be a factor in what he's doing.
Well, when all this has kind of gone off again, I think Eddie Hearn was obviously listening intently and tweeted, I think it was today, Thursday or Wednesday, saying, if this definitely doesn't happen, let's have Fury AJ, I think, in June.
Yeah.
And then have the winner against in Saudi at the end of the year.
Against Usyk.
Maybe, yeah.
Unless Usyk fights in the meantime.
Or I think AJ Usyk in the summer, I think he was saying, or I don't know, he basically just throwing AJ's name into the mix because AJ fights Franklin this weekend.
Yeah.
So if AJ can win that, and then maybe have, I think AJ Wilder, he said maybe, or something, and
another fight that should have happened about 10 times.
But with all this back and forth and the whole who's right, who's wrong, and morally and money and stuff, it's just a big dark cloud for boxing, whatever way you look at it.
Yeah, it is.
I've
seen AJ talking about it. To be fair, I like the way AJ talks, apart from when he gets beat at the end of the fight.
He has a break. That was a breakdown.
It seems so. I mean, there's nothing worse and more bringing you down to earth than getting beat in a fight, is there? Like, you know yourself with probably what you've seen when you've been in combat yourself, getting beat in a fight, or someone getting the better of you physically.
The whole world.
It's the most humiliating thing in the world. So I sort of don't blame him, and but he speaks well still on the subject of boxing, and even he's saying, you know, we need to go about it differently to make these matchups people want to see. We need to.
Because I know the thing what you said there, Callie, like you're not well versed in boxing. I'm only into it now through I listen to the talks, but let's say every day. But the casual fans like me and you, who potentially would pay you 15, 20 quid twice a year or 3 times a year, it's putting us off.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, you'll get your hardcores who will watch it no matter what, but where the big money comes and the pay-per-view comes from is your casual fans.
Yeah, it is.
And I think all this has done is just put, like you say, a big dark cloud over it all.
It has, mate. I used to love the boxing. Like, I used to watch it all the time, but I wouldn't pay for a pay-per-view now. Unless a deal got made quick. Do you know what? Wilder Joshua, I might. Because I think they'd probably get that deal done now that there's nothing on the line. So it'd be an interesting fight, but other than that.
Yeah. You mentioned there about you're a bit more of a UFC man. Dana White had a say on it and basically just said, like, look, I'll come and get involved in it if you want, because he's obviously got a track record. He's got a track record of putting on the big fights, you know what I mean? He's put the best versus the best, you know what I mean? And I think that's what, you know, Dana's had his controversies and that over the years, but that's one thing no one can ever say negative about him. You know,
he's had a humdinger of a controversy recently, hasn't he?
With the slap league
Slapping
thing.
His beard.
That slap league thing is always just destined to fail anyway, I think.
No, didn't he push his missus in the face?
Yeah, he slapped his missus on like the eve of it coming out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That can't have been done purposely.
No, I think it's just a bit ironic. But I think though the commissioner for the slap league has come out and said I shouldn't have like commissioned it now and stuff as well.
I mean, it's just.
I think it'll just be. I think
it's assault, isn't it?
Yeah, essentially.
It's just watching assault back and forth.
Not defending yourself.
Yeah.
But that aside, he has built up £1 billion business.
Unbelievable.
You know, one of the fastest growing sports in the world.
It's my favourite sport. Like, I've just got back from the UFC this weekend.
Did you go? Yeah.
And it was fucking unbelievable. But just.
What was the highlight for you then?
I'd like to say Edwards, but I like the. There was a Scottish well, there was a girl from Australia, but she had like Scottish music playing. I can't remember her name, but she was fighting Maya, Brazilian, and it was a boss fight, and she was just incredible the way she had boss movements, and technically she's just sort of she's a bit like Floyd Mayweather, just avoided everything, just slipped, and that was my favourite fight on the card. But just the whole event was a proper spectacle, like the show they put on. Even Bruce Buffer, like seeing his, he's like, I was saying to my mate between the fights, because I've never seen him live before. When he announces the fights, he's like Elvis Presley. He's like, his legs go like, he gets like bendy legs, and he like goes.
He gets the fighters involved, doesn't he?
Involved. And I was saying to me, look at his legs, he's fucking boss.
What suspicious man's
legs. How good
legs,
his legs are. Yeah. I was just like, everything about it was just great.
Yeah, I'll be honest, the Leon Edwards fight wasn't my highlight. I threw a cheeky fiver on the draw at 66-1, and I thought I might have had it in.
Yeah, I thought it might have been a draw while I was there, but when I watched it back, it was clear.
Yeah, I think, and listen, buzzing. I didn't think he'd win, to be honest, Leon. Buzzing that he did. But yeah, I don't know, I just thought that, obviously because he got absolutely schooled for 4.5 rounds in the first fight, in like the last fight when he won the title, and it was only the headshot that got him the win. I just thought it might have been the same again, but I thought his defensive, the takedowns were unbelievable.
Boss. I mean, it's mad that, because Usman was a different fighter in this third fight. It's mad that just one moment, like you said, he battered him for 4 rounds. And that's what I love about the UFC the most, is one moment, one kick, one strike, and he's a different fighter for the rest of his life now. He was scared. He was scared, but he was untouchable beforehand. But he was fighting scared, and it's just like, it's mad the way a split second can change someone's whole
trajectory of both of their careers.
Mentality forever.
Yeah,
like who knows if Usman will ever, because that wasn't the same Usman that we used to see him. You know
I don't know whether he's overthought it. Do you know what I mean? Though, do you think?
I'm just scared of getting kicked in the fucking head.
Do you reckon?
They think so, like.
Do you reckon it's as simple as like a mental block thinking?
I think so. I mean, I've never been kicked that hard in the face, but
it's got to do something.
That's fucking. I've been punched in the face before sparring, and the next time you go in the ring, you don't want it to happen again, because it comes back to not just your legacy that's on the line, like getting knocked out in that manner in front of millions of people. Yeah, like I can't imagine it.
No,
like that, and
it's a humbling experience, I imagine.
Yeah, it takes a special individual to come back from that and just dominate still. And that's what I always think about Paddy. You know, I've been fortunate to see Paddy a few times. Went to Vegas and watch him, and as a bit of a mate now, he's become. Yeah. I'm dead fearful for him, because he goes, Scousers don't get knocked out, and I'm just praying the day never comes. Do you know what I mean? Because there'll be that many memes, I can just see it now. Do you know what I mean? But I mean, he's in that world, isn't he? He's in the meme world.
He's playing the game.
He's playing the game, and Paddy's a great fighter. When he sort of needs a punch in the face before he says it himself,
to wake him up. Yeah.
But yeah,
and that's the only thing, because like you say, it must be a horrendous thing for you mentally going forward after it, and I think maybe that did get to Usman.
Yeah, I mean, no amount of meditation is bringing you
no 5 a.m. showers,
lad. Watching you get flatlined.
You can go down to Crosby Beach all you want, Usman, lad. You ain't fucking recovering quick.
Maybe that's what he needs. Come and stay in Liverpool with Paddy.
A little 5 a.m. beach start. What I did find interesting, we've just bigged up Dana for saying like the best matchmaker. Leon's actually turned round to Dana and said, I'm not fighting Colby.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting. Dana come out straight away, said Colby's next in line.
Yeah.
And then Leon went, nah, he's not.
Yeah. Leon's point is correct, and Dana's point is correct. He's a big draw for Dana. That's the fight to make. But he hasn't earned his way. And the UFC's got to be careful, in my opinion, because the way they work is it's on merit. You fight based on being the best fighter at the time. If you're the number 1 contender and you've been active, you will fight the champion to try and get the belt, and Colby hasn't been for a year. So,
but he didn't do that with John Jones either, which pissed me off.
Yeah, there's certain people, isn't it, that are just that McGregor big of a draw. Well. McGregor, and Colby's one of those people, unfortunately. But Colby's like that, rubbing salt in the wounds now. Like, don't piss your boss off and all that. Like, he was at the fight as well.
I've seen that, yeah. And that's what does me
acting
head
the
about,
goat.
where it's like, it becomes a little bit like the whole Jake Paul thing. It's like,
Yeah.
who gets the most views? It doesn't matter who's the best, it's who
Yeah.
goes off the most, who's, you know.
And that's why I love the UFC more so, because it's not like that. It is sometimes, but predominantly.
Yeah, there's only a couple of occasions really, isn't there?
Yeah, so I don't know whether, I mean, Colby was saying that Leon might get stripped if he doesn't take the fight, which has happened before with Ngannou and people like that. So, but Leon
said Masvidal, didn't he?
Yeah, well, Masvidal's fighting. Who's Masvidal got next? Masvidal is fighting. I can't think off the top of my head, but he's got a big fight coming up, so he's not going to be next unless he wins that fight. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Mate, my biggest thing.
Gilbert Burns, is it?
Is it? Yeah.
Might be Gilbert Burns, yeah.
My biggest thing was when I was watching it was Mokaev nearly getting his leg snapped.
Wow.
And then somehow
Turned into Stretch Armstrong for a minute, didn't he?
I used to have one of them, mate.
So did I when I was a kid. It was boss.
You know what? It's the first time I've heard that in about 15,
Stretch
20
Armstrong.
years, and that's arguably
That's exactly what his leg was like.
the best. You know, the best summary of what actually happened.
Yeah, if you've not seen it, Google it. Google the image.
I actually took a photo of the telly. I was like, what the fuck's just happened then?
It was mad, wasn't it? But he won the fight, didn't he? He come back to win the fight in the end.
Do you know what? Not that I wish any...
Limping.
Not that I want to wish any pain on, because I really like him. But I'd love to see him walking the next day out that hotel.
Well, you seen him limping?
Yeah.
He jumped on the top of the cage when he won, and I was like, what are you doing? Just stand still.
So for anyone who didn't see it, just YouTube it.
Yeah.
Mate, his knee is bending the wrong way. And, like...
It is literally like Stretch Armstrong. Like, it bends up, doesn't it?
You were saying off air about, like, reaction cams and stuff. I will bet anything that no one can just watch that normally.
Without going...
Oh. Like, you can't. It was disgusting.
It was amazing. I haven't seen the replay of it. I don't know how he got out of it.
No.
Unless he's turned.
I don't know how he's somehow got out of it with his legs still attached. And then
I reckon he's
squirmed.
got some damage there.
100%.
He's going to have to have some surgery or
100%.
He's torn something if he hasn't broke
He's somehow fucking done this little commando snaggle round and got onto his back and then just put the lad a kick. Well, the lad tapped, but
but imagine the other lad thinking, fucking hell, how can I win a fight here? Like, that's got to be the best position to get someone in,
it'd be great
the whole of the UFC.
It'd be great if Mo's new name was Mo Stretch Armstrong. Yeah.
That should be his nickname for sure.
That was unreal. I seen Jack Shaw come back as well with a win.
Yeah, the Welsh
kid, yeah.
Impressive.
I seen him, he had like goals to be like the new Joe Calzaghe by going his whole career unbeaten. He got beaten in his last fight but come back with a win, which I was buzzing with. They were the two big fights for me, Jack Shaw and Mokaev, which I was buzzing to see.
Yeah, Shaw looked, leading up to, like in the first round or so.
He's moved up a weight, hasn't he?
Well, he seemed out of shape for me. I was like, he seems a bit out of shape, but when I realised he'd gone up a weight, I was like, sort of makes sense.
Yeah, and he had a dodgy, I think it might have been second round, it might have been, and I thought, fucking hell, lad, or it might have been the first or second, but then he come good and won, which was good, but I thought on the whole, it was a great card, and Leon getting the win means hopefully there'll be more coming back to England anyway.
Yeah, you think so? I want to get to as many as I can, like, I think I wouldn't be going to championship fights with the prices I had to pay, but like fight nights are boss. I went to one before in Liverpool when Darren Silver fought Wonderboy.
Yeah, I was at that one,
and it was like the day before my mate's wedding. It was like a rush day. It was fucking boss. It was such a good event that they put on. I'd love to see more in Liverpool, so
yeah, the prices though are scandalous.
Mate, we tried to get tickets on just a normal website and got through. There's a few of us like trying to get them, and we got through every single time, but every time you go to buy the tickets, you see there's none left. So we ended up going on like Viago and paying.
What was the price for a pint down there?
The pints weren't too bad. It was like six quid for a pint in the O2, which you'd expect. That's not pay anywhere now.
Mate, when I went to see Paddy, the tickets were $650.
Yeah.
$700, so $650 a ticket. And then so me and my half fella, me mate Jamie and Vice went.
Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas. So $650 a ticket. It was my half fella's birthday, so I that's what I sorted for him. A couple of lads jumped on. I I bought 4 pints in there, right? It just so happened my round was there, right? $130 for 4 pints. I felt like
throwing them at them.
honestly, lad, it was disgusting.
Do you know what? It's worth just drinking water, you'd think, but then the water's fucking $12 a pop.
But the last bit of news on UFC, you're seeing this. I'd never even heard of him before. I apologise, but Jeff Molina has come out as bisexual.
Yeah.
I think the only thing about that story, which I thought was a bit thingy, was from his statement. I think it sounds like he's been forced into having to come out, as in someone must have some video of him fucking banging someone or something.
Sex tape or something, I heard, yeah. But
is that what it is, a sex tape?
Well, he was suspended anyway because of his trainer, or his old trainer, who was caught up in a bit of a betting scandal.
Oh, really?
So you can't bet on fights, as you probably know, with any sport. You can't bet on fights if you're involved in it. So he was suspended because of that.
Right.
And then I think during that time, he's come out with this. He hasn't released it, but someone's got hold of a tape of him doing something.
Giving a cheeky
blowjob
or something.
I don't know the extent of what he was doing.
Allegedly.
Let's watch it now.
Yeah. I've got it saved, lad, yeah.
But allegedly, he's on the back of that video, he's come out and said, you know, I didn't want it to come out this way.
Lad, he's only come out when gets sent around all the WhatsApp groups. He's like, fucking need to address this.
I mean, he probably didn't want it to be that way, but...
I'm making a joke of it, but it's great on one hand that he's come out and he's like coming out, but it's shitty that he's had to come out
in
and
that way.
He's been blackmailed almost, or he's been forced to.
Even if it was a sex tape with a bird, you wouldn't want to.
No, would you fuck no? Fucking no. And I hate that, you know, that's sending stuff on and that. I'm not into all that. No. It's fucking. But yeah, lads, anything else from you on the boxing and UFC?
Not really. Not on the boxing anyway, but the UFC, I think. There's some boss matchups coming up now. We've got Izzy's fighting again soon against.
Is that this week? It's next weekend, I think,
6th of April. He's fighting Pereira for the 4th time, but it'll be the 2nd time in the UFC. Pereira seems to have his number. Yeah. He's a scary dude, like this Brazilian killer. Yeah. And he knocks him out every time he fights him, but
that's another mental block, isn't it?
It goes back to that, yeah, the mental block. Like once someone sort of put you out in that fashion. Izzy seems mentally strong, and I can't wait to see what happens, but I think Izzy's going to have to take him out. The
other thing as well I seen was with McGregor as well. He's done that, the coaching thing,
Ultimate
Fighter. Yeah. And he's having a bit of back and forth with the drugs program, innit?
Yeah.
He seems to think that he just needs to bang in 2 tests clean and he's done.
And he's obviously on something now, isn't he?
Conor Begg's eggs, isn't he? Conor Benn eggs.
He's like a bloated fucking fish.
But he's, I think, the drugs, is it USADA, is it? Saying
USADA, yeah.
You need 6 months clean. And he's like, nah, I can just put 2 tests in and that's good to go.
Do you know what though? Like the Eddie Hearn situation, if that's what Conor wants to do, he's the money fight, isn't he? So he's going to fucking do what he wants.
I did see a stipulation saying the UFC can say on certain occasions, no, you don't need to do 6 months. Yeah. And I've got a funny feeling Dana White might go, you don't need to do 6 months, Conor, crack on.
I'm going to make a few million off this.
So.
But he's got to fight Michael Chandler, who's the other coach in the Ultimate Fighter.
I've seen that,
And another incest, I think Conor's got a bit of a mental block as well now that he's been wiped out by Khabib, and I don't see him beating
He's not Chandler. The same Conor, is he?
He's not the same. With age, you'd expect the fluency. It's like Muhammad Ali. You know, he didn't move the way he did after his 3-year suspension when you come back from something like that. Now he's broke his leg too, and he hasn't fought since that. It's going to be tough for him to come back. But either way, I'll be tuning in to see it.
Yeah, 100%. Mate, moving on to the close to home football. Mate, the biggest news ever. Soccer AM is going to get axed at the end of the season.
I don't know.
Lads, Soccer AM, don't even say you don't like... It's gone a bit shit, but it was fucking our childhood.
I used to love it, mate, with Helen Chamberlain and Tim Lovejoy. I think it came out like early 90s.
95 it was.
95. I used to watch it every week. I don't as much not the moment.
Yeah, I'm the same now, but it's
an institution, isn't it?
Yeah, it was brilliant. Anyone can say whatever. It was a belter at the time.
It's great.
I don't think, though, thinking back, I don't think you could do half the stuff they used to do on it.
No. That's one of those programs that just sort of, they got less of a like telling off of what to do. Like they sort of do anything they want now, but
it was like a nuts Zoo magazine type lads show on it, like the Soccerettes and stuff. And Tim Lovejoy used to walk past them, and he'd like go, whoa, like he just grabbed his ass and stuff like that. And it was just that kind of funny thing you grew up with, bit of like lads banter,
taking the piss out of everyone. I used to like the Gallagher stuff.
Yeah.
Alright. Fucking boss when he was in the car park.
He goes, sunshine.
Where he sees himself on the camera and starts going like that.
They used to have like Chris Kamara used to go into the away dressing room and stuff every week and stuff. There was all kinds that went
spots, but
and they had
it'd be a shame to see it. But you know what? Like I was thinking this about the Gary Lineker stuff. You know, where he was banning him off the program because he said the stuff about the Tories, and just go and start your own channel.
Yeah.
Like if I was, you know, anyone who worked at Soccer AM, I'd be like, you've probably got a YouTube channel with millions of followers on anyway.
Tubes, we've had Tubes on the podcast. It was the first ever podcast we done was Tubes. Great fella. He's got his own podcast. It's called Golf Life, and he just basically does that. So
like there's more license to create more stuff.
More avenues now for you, isn't
there? Yeah, like if I was the presenters at them, I'd just be like, let's go and do our own spin-off show.
Yeah.
Using on at the branding and then earn a living anyway.
Away from the kind of funny side of football of Soccer AM to the bit more of the darker side again, where money comes into it, is the United takeover. As of last night, it seems to have stalled a little bit with the Qatar takeover. Is it Qatar or Saudi or?
I thought it was Saudi. I might be wrong.
I don't know. Someone in the Middle East, and the British. I think he's Dyson, isn't it? The fella who started the Dyson Hoover.
I think so. Yeah.
Sure, it's him.
Yeah.
I should know this being a sports show, but it's...
I know. Just going to do your research before you podcast.
My thing is United takeover. Doesn't matter who takes over. That's probably why I don't know who it was, because my point that I want to try and discuss with you is, and as I read, are you genuinely asked, be honest, who buys Liverpool, if anyone does?
I go back and forth. At the same time, I want to see us compete, and unless you've got an exceptional manager and set up at the club, it's almost impossible to compete in the league. So I wouldn't mind that much. I just wouldn't like to lose the character of the club if a Saudi or Middle Eastern conglomerate came and bought us. Do you know what I mean? On the one hand, I want to see us compete. On the other, I don't want to see us lose the what we stand for, which is the sort of coming from nothing, you know, grassroots type of club.
Would it bother you as a fan knowing that a Saudi Arabian businessman bought us where they're beheading people and stuff? Would that bother you?
Fucking hell.
Bit of a deep question.
Didn't expect
the only reason I'm asking, because I just think most Liverpool fans, right, wouldn't be asked, and they could say that they'd be asked, right, but hey, before the World Cup was even on, fucking hell, everyone went to Qatar. No one said nothing about it then when we won the World Club Championships.
I mean,
so it's like
it's one of those though. It's like you can't brand everyone with the same brush, can you? So it's not those people taking over Liverpool that have done that shit. That's just like extremist groups that are in that area of the world. So to relate them to businessmen in that area is you can't do that.
True, but I think if it's then state owned who starts buying the club, then they do have an impact on the laws. Where you can.
I think it's the laws that's the problem, isn't it? Like there's barbaric stuff that happens in every country, but I think it's the laws over there that roughly.
You could say that about American owners, although not as extreme as, you know, beheadings and stuff, or, you know, whatever. But, you know, you could argue an American owner and they stop the abortion laws or stuff. You know, it's like you could argue
morally governments fucking don't stand on either side of the line, do they? So,
mate, we could have a I don't know, an investment fund from the UK who try and invest into bloody an Iraqi football team, and they could go get to fuck you, invaded our country, you know.
Bombing us for fucking the last part of 2 decades, yeah.
So I guess it's how deep you want to dive into your owner's history, isn't it?
I think there's too many people using models as an excuse to just send something down the banks. I think if you look at it deeply, like I heard Joe Rogan saying the other day, the lithium in the batteries in your phone is dug out of a mine in fucking some
Vietnam somewhere or
Vietnam, and there's slave labour everywhere. The clothes that you wear is slave labour based in some cases, and it's like
you got to be really careful, mate. I made the excuse
if you're going to take the moral high ground, you've got to do it on everything. You can't just do it on
pick and choose.
Yeah.
It's like Saudi Arabia. You could go, right, I'm not going to watch Newcastle no more because they're owned by Saudi Arabia. I'm going to go down there, watch it at my mate's house.
Yeah.
Okay, well, don't order an Uber then.
Yeah.
Because Uber are owned by the same
people.
They've got an investment in the same people.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, I won't go to an Uber then.
Exactly.
So my point is then, I think, in the end, I don't think it really does matter because it's just football has become, whether we like it or we don't,
about the money.
20 billionaires essentially, or close to billionaires who are just playing Championship Manager.
Yeah.
And we're all just thinking, I hope we find a Freddie Adu from DC United.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. And I'd love Liverpool to do well, or any club that does well against a club with money is the story of football, isn't it?
Yeah. But I think the few and far between, no, Carly, really do.
Yeah.
See the Conte rant?
I did.
I think it was very Rafa-like, 2008, 2009.
It was exactly
think?
like that. It was. I thought it was less erotic, but it was certainly the same in terms of the concept of what he was saying.
That's just a man under immense pressure. Isn't it?
I mean, but how do you not know that that's what that's like at that club before you go there? Like, it was clear what they run like as a club.
I thought it was a bit heavy though when he was going 20 years.
20 years you won football.
Like, what the hell, that calm down a minute.
I mean, that the owners must be looking at that go, but if you were going to get paid out millions, you wouldn't give a fuck what you said either. Like,
yeah, but can he though? I mean, I don't know. I heard, again, everyone's going to sound like I love him, but like, Simon Jordan was going like, I'd get him tied up in loads of legals. Like,
and say, because you've slandered
the
club. Yeah.
Slandered, defamation of the club, what, I don't know.
Character, sort of, yeah.
It's like walking in, I don't know, like, you've just had an argument with your bird or something, and you're walking and sitting in a living room and going to where mum and dad, your fucking living room shit, you haven't fucking walked in. It's
like, fucking daughter you brought up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, hang on a minminute, fucking remember where you...
It was right on the nose, like, and he slagged his players off as well in the same interview, didn't he? Because he seems like that type of person where he ruffles feathers wherever he goes, but I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't last in that role for the next few weeks.
Do you think that'll affect Kane as well? There's talk of him going to United.
I think the ship sailed with Kane.
I think he'll leave now.
I think he's there it's like a similar Gerrard situation. I think he's professed his loyalty to Tottenham. He's their top goal scorer. If he was to leave to a rival now, I think he'd sort of ruin his legacy. It's
how much he wants to win trophies and how much he wants to be a kind of club legend, I guess, isn't it?
I mean, you wouldn't go to United anyway. You wanted to win trophies. Saying that, he just won the fucking...
Lad, I think United...
I'm stuck in 2 years ago, me.
Mate, United could do the treble, I think, this season.
Of trophies? Fuck off. Not a chance.
Musk, our producer Musk, clip this up. I think United will do the League Cup, the FA Cup and the Europa League.
I think City are going to, for lack of a better word, bum them in the final. In the final.
Not a chance.
The Europa League, I think
just put Barca out. They've just put Betis out.
But Barca are crap.
At the top of the league, we've just got smoked by Real Madrid. Honestly, Callie, I think you need to...
I've got Liverpool tinted glasses on.
Get out of fucking Liverpool, smoking everyone 2019 and wake up and smell the fucking cherries, kids, because United are on the rise, unfortunately.
It's fair play, isn't it, if they do it? They've been playing better, but...
I like that Ten Hag. I just think he's done a great job.
Yeah. They've also benefited from Rashford being in the form of his life and not getting injured.
Yeah.
I mean, without Rashford, what happens then?
They get Kane. Would you take Kane at Liverpool?
But you won't get him this season. I would have 2 years ago, but I wouldn't take him now.
I think the only way no one would take Kane is if Spurs start demanding like 100 mil. I think if you can get him for 60, 70, even 80 mil, I think he's going to go.
And how old is he now? 36? 34?
Nah, like 31?
31?
32, I think.
I don't know. I'd probably take him if we didn't have that much firepower going forward. I know we don't utilise that firepower as best we should, but...
Mate, some of the stories I've seen Ancelotti is potentially off to Brazil. Be interesting one. The managerial kind of merry-go-round has started a bit earlier, so Ancelotti to Brazil. Obviously, we've got Woy back in the Premiership, gone to Palace. Mate, he's 75.
He was too old for it 12 years ago, when he took over us, or 15 years ago.
But at what point, listen, I get football's in his blood, it's all he knows, I get that, and it must be hard to let go. But Surely your missus, I think he's got a son.
The pressure.
Surely you'd have to go. Come on, Roy.
It's time to hang your boots up.
Let's go and sit in the Bahamas and watch it on Sky Go.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why Palace even considering getting him. It's like
They've got him.
They've actually got him.
They've got him. I don't know why they sacked Vieira either. I mean, they haven't won in a bit, but
it's insane.
It wasn't quite smash the glass and hit the panic button. I don't think.
What position are they in now? 17th.
The 12th,
but they're only
4 points off the relegation zone. So I don't know. I think they've jumped the gun a bit, Palace, and I don't know.
It's one of those that like, how's there no other managers available? Like, where are the managers? Do you know what I mean?
The fact they're looking at a 75-year-old man.
It's like It's like the president of America. Like,
Biden,
is that the only fucking person
no
that's qualified to do this job?
Mate, before we touch on Liverpool and Everton, a few other stories in the world of football. I've seen Chilwell opened up about his mental health. It's always nice. I just think when, you know, people in positions are kind of opening up and saying, look, I'm struggling as well, because I think it's very easy to sit here and think your life's perfect. So I thought that was nice seeing that about him. Another one which is someone who suffered from mental health, and not to make a joke about his mental health, but I just thought it was hilarious as what his clubs turned around and said, was Dele Alli currently on, I don't know what that banging is, everyone can hear that banging next door's office. Dele Alli currently on loan from Everton. I think it's Besiktas, I think.
Besiktas.
He's gone AWOL. And someone from the club has said, yeah, like he's we don't know where he is. And then it's gone on to say, the club have said, it's raining, that's why he probably hasn't come in.
What the fuck type of
He's since come out and said, I was on leave, I'm not due in till tomorrow. But I think when the bosses turned around and said, well, he's not here, and it's probably because it's fucking raining.
There's only a certain amount of things you can't say, isn't there?
I mean,
in that situation.
Do you know the maddest thing about him?
He's fell from grace though, hasn't he?
Now he's 26. 26, and his manager in Besiktas thinks he only hasn't come in because it's pissing down. I mean, that's a fall from grace.
I mean, that's another one though, isn't it? Like, that's a situation where you go, did you go and talk to him? Did you know that you weren't meant to be in today?
Yeah.
Or did you, like, are you being genuine?
Yeah.
Do you need help with anything? Like, it's just alarm bells, isn't it?
Yeah, massively, mate. But I think he struggled a long time. You see him from the Tottenham thing they done with Mourinho and stuff, didn't he? Tried to help him and stuff.
Yeah.
It's a sad story for him. And again, before we touch on Liverpool and Everton briefly, Ben Foster, back out of retirement, playing for Wrexham.
Yeah.
See, apparently Wrexham goalie's just being out for the season, so they've jumped in and got Ben Foster back in. But looks like Wrexham are going to get promoted as well.
When did he retire? Was it last season?
End of last season. Yeah, he got off to go to Newcastle, said no.
And then,
but Wrexham have said, look, we need you till the end of the season. Can you come in? So
still do a job, won't he?
He's went in. Mate, I don't want to talk too long on Liverpool and Everton because it's international weekend. But do you think we're going to get top four? It seems like no one wants it. Spurs keep on being in a good position and fucking it up.
I said on the Red Men TV the other day, I think we're going to finish third.
Third?
And then the next game was Bournemouth. And I thought if we'd have beat Bournemouth, we could have...
They let you all smoke weed on that Red Men TV?
Yeah, but I just thought, we were at the time, we were 7 points behind United after beating them 7-0. And that's not a lot of time. That's not a lot of big gap.
Yeah.
And I was thinking 15 games to go.
Yeah, I can see you thinking, to be fair.
And we hadn't conceded a goal for 5 games at that point. And then we get beat by Bournemouth 1-0. So I think we'll get top 4. But I think we'll just scrape it. I think we're just going to scrape it.
I had your optimism, lad. And,
I think we've got the quality to, like you said, the other teams around us. Newcastle are on a slide downwards. They're not going to get top 4, in my opinion. Liverpool have been there before. It sort of comes with the mentality of they've been there and done it. It's like when you're going for the league run. I just think we'll scrape it again.
What about Everton? Do you think they're safe?
No. Not yet.
Do you not think still?
No. I mean, what's the gap? What did you say then? The gap between 12?
From 12th and bottom, it's
4
like...
points.
Yeah, it's not a lot now at all.
So, you know, two or 3 defeats in a row. Do you want them to go down?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do as well.
I feel bad saying it, but yeah.
I hear people say, like, I don't want it to go down. Then
I'm happy with it, mate, yeah. Only because, though, my bitterness comes from them being bitter when we've been beaten finals and stuff. So...
I think it's just... I think they're going down. I think it's done. But I don't know anything, do I? To come back to bite me in the arse, this, but I think if they're still in this position in the next 5 games, they're going to struggle.
I think they done well to get it appointed in there at Chelsea, so
yeah,
knocked me out my last man standing, which I didn't appreciate, but
it's another team, Chelsea, just invested millions and then...
Yeah. I think next season will be the one for them, though.
Yeah, they probably win the league.
Right. Now that we've just finished on footy, a new part of the Sportscast is going to be a competition time. So, giving away £50 to a random Patreon. Now, all you need to do to sign up on Patreon to be part of this competition is sign up. It's £1 a week, and you are entered into the competition every week. I've done a wheel of names before, and I'm ringing up Daniel Elder. First time we're doing this, lad, so I just hope he fucking picks up.
Have you got another name as backup?
Yeah. Hopefully, I don't need to use it. Right, let's see if he answers the phone first. Right.
Be funny if my phone rang, wouldn't it?
Let's see if he answers. I'm ringing him on WhatsApp, actually. I don't know why I've started ringing on WhatsApp. I'll try him on normal.
Was he win 50 quid?
He wins 50 quid if he answers this question. Right, I'm going to let him have another go at that because it's...
A WhatsApp call, you don't see it sometimes.
I don't have my notifications on WhatsApp, to be fair, so I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. If not, I've got someone else lined up. Let's see. I don't know whether Dan's a red or a blue. You can have a choice. He's not answering, is he, lad? First leg at Sportscast competition, and we've got a no answer.
Just roll it over into next week.
Right. Gonna try someone else again. The questions hard anyway, lad. I don't think anyone's get. You didn't get them. Let me see. Right, who have we got next?
Any statisticians in there?
Next we got Joe Jenkins. Right, let's try Joe. Right. Come on, Joe. Right.
Probably in work, though.
This is the Vodafone voicemail service.
Buttoned it, lad. He's in work. Right, this is the last go, and then by default, it's getting rolled over.
Do one of the week after.
Bradley Chapman, right? Bradley, you are the last one, lad. I mean, there's a problem ringing people at 2 o'clock in the afternoon when they're
not many people can answer the phones. You should have put occupation. Did you see anyone that you think might be free?
This isn't even ringing. Let's see.
Your Battersea dogs only.
Jack Russell speaking.
Yeah.
Let's see. There were people, to be fair, who said, if you're going to ring me on this time, I can't answer. Right, hopefully any of these people ring me back when they've got a missed call.
Yeah.
The questions are, so I'll give them out to people, for anyone who is listening. So for the Reds, the question is, Roy Hodgson is back in the Prem, which will give a lot of Reds some nightmares. He left the Reds after just 6 months in January 2011. With the Reds, how many points above the relegation zone when he left? So you didn't get this. You said 8 points.
I said about 15.
Oh, 15 you said?
Yeah, I thought it would be more.
So believe it or not, when Roy Hodgson left in January 2011, Liverpool were just 4 points above the relegation zone, which is ironically the same amount of points as Palace are now. So there's the Liverpool question. The Everton question is, Everton have steadied the ship and... Oh, here we go. Hello?
Hello? Hiya.
Who's that?
I've just got a phone. I'm a call off you.
It's Andy Grant. I just didn't know it's... I've just rang three of you, three Patreon numbers. Who's that?
Brad.
What's happening, Brad? How are you?
What's happening, alright?
Good, mate, yeah. You ready for this Sportscast question?
I am, but I'm in a loft at the minute.
You're in a loft?
I am, mate, aye.
You got a chance to win 50 quid, lad. You need to take a little minute. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I'll come out. Just be a sec, Andy.
Go on.
hope he's in his own loft.
Is that right?
Right, hello.
You all right, Brad?
Aye,
First off, mate, thanks for your support on Patreon. Much appreciated.
not a bother.
Right, are you a red or a blue by any chance?
A red or a blue?
Who do you support?
Newcastle.
Okay, now.
Oh, Andy.
This has gone down well, hasn't it, mate? I feel bad asking you this question. In fact, you know what, mate? You might know the answer to this. So I want to give you the Liverpool question, all right?
How then?
Right, Roy Hodgson's back in the Prem, as you'll know, this week in charge of Palace. He didn't do great when he was at Liverpool. He had 6 months in charge of Liverpool and left in January 2011. How many points above the relegation zone were Liverpool when Roy Hodgson left? Do you know what, mate? Because you don't support Liverpool or Everton, I want to give you...
How am I supposed to know that,
I'm going to give you 3 options, mate, right?
How then?
4, 6 or 8.
We'll go middle.
You're going for 6 points?
Yeah.
Brad, I'm sorry, it's 4, mate.
No.
4. Listen, mate, it's going to get rolled over
Well,
next
what
week.
is it?
It's going to be £100 next week, mate, so your name will be in the pot again for next week.
Right, no worries.
Right, nice one, Brad. Thanks for the
Well,
support
cheers,
again.
mate.
See you soon. Bye.
That's what you should have put on the form. Who'd you support?
It's a hard one. I feel bad now.
You
Feel
need-
bad asking a Geordie.
I know.
So it's Newcastle.
You just don't go so specific on the questions.
I know. For
Well,
those Evertonians listening as well, the Everton one was basically who scored Everton's last goal under Frank Lampard's reign. Damn, that's too hard as well if you're a blue.
Not for the blue, but if you get another Newcastle fan, then he's looking solid.
Would you have got
Got
that
no
then?
chance.
Do you reckon?
No. I'd have probably said Calvert-Lewin.
Fuck off, lad, he never plays.
Thought he was the only one who scored goals for Everton.
So the last player to score a goal under Lampard's reign was Onana. There we
Do you know
go.
what? I couldn't name 5 Everton players.
I'm going to make them more
Don't even know who
specific,
that
more sport specific next week. Okay, unlucky Brad there. So anyway, that means that next week there's £100 up for grabs. All you need to do is be signed up on Patreon. Your name gets entered in to the draw, and we'll give one of you a call next week. Right, to finish off the show then, mate, with a few little other little snippets I seen in the world of horse racing. Did you watch any of Cheltenham last week?
Seen the highlights, but didn't watch it. Didn't watch it as it was happening.
I didn't, to be honest, mate. I was out in Madrid watching the Reds get absolutely tonked by Madrid. But I did see Galloping de Champs beat Brave Man's Game in the Gold Cup. I actually backed Brave Man's Game. Was gutted to see that.
He's a young horse though, isn't he? Brave Man's Game.
Is he? I'm not
I
sure.
think he'll be in it next year, doing the same next year for the Gold Cup.
I think the highlights that I seen, because I didn't see any of it either, was Honeysuckle and Rachel Blackmore won.
Yeah.
After Honeysuckle got beat by Statesman a few months before, it was like, is Honeysuckle, should she even be going again? She did, and she won, which was brilliant to see. And my bet of the week, which you didn't get a great price for it, I think it was 8-15, was Constitution Hill to beat Statesman in a 1-2. And that's exactly what happened. Constitution Hill absolutely blew them all away.
Blackmore's the one who won the national a couple of years ago, wasn't
Yeah. Rachel Blackmore, yeah. On
So-
Manila Times, she won. Oh no, she won the Gold Cup on Manila Times. Can't remember what she won national on.
I think that's the only sport that, or tennis do it, don't they, that men and women compete at the same level. It's one of few, isn't it?
As in alongside, it's just a good question. Yeah, but even tennis.
I think.
I guess they do in mixed doubles, don't they? Yeah.
But
Darts.
the men and women go on the same.
That's a good question, that.
It's boss to
Maybe
see
we
that,
should have
though.
asked that question.
Yeah, what sports do like at the same level?
But yeah,
There'd be loads of women doing that though.
there are a
Team
few jockeys.
is
Yeah,
there?
there are a few.
Because they're lighter on average, aren't they? So
Yeah, but it's not. It's like, yeah, it all gets stingy with the weights though. It's
Yeah.
just, it is on skill. But yeah, Constitution Hill. Anyone who didn't see it, it's worth watching just to see what a horse they reckon could be the best horse ever, which was boss to see.
yeah,
There's
Champs could be in that conversation though.
Well, do you reckon there's going to be loads of the winners from Cheltenham coming to Aintree as well
Yeah.
next week? Or in 2 weeks' time, 2 or 3 weeks'
Are you
time?
going
So,
to that?
yeah. You going to go?
I don't think so, mate.
I love the races, lad. Love the races. In the world of tennis, mate, I thought I was a bit pissed off. So, I'm a big Novak fan.
Yeah.
So, at the minute,
the
he's
ultimate
not
competitor.
he's not able to compete in America because of his he hasn't took the COVID jab. which is fair enough. That's fucking hell another debate entirely. But what I think's a bit shitty is because he hasn't been able to compete in America. Alcaraz as the Spanish kid, the young kid coming up, and he's just went back to being number one
in the ranks,
or because Novak can't play. Now you could argue and say, well, it's Novak's fault, but there'll be American athletes who haven't had the COVID vaccination and can play in that tournament, because they don't have to travel and they're from America. But Novak, who also hasn't had the vaccine, can't play in that just because he's coming from abroad. And in doing so, he's now lost his world ranking spot, which I think is just bullshit.
It's insane, isn't it?
I just think that's so wrong, but
I mean, it should just go off what you have played, shouldn't it? Like every other sport, it shouldn't be.
Well, so
it's political though as well, isn't it?
That's political one, yeah. But I think the whole the tennis federation thing, how they rank points, I think is a bit fucked up, because we have this joke where everyone thinks I hate Emma Raducanu and I don't. But
what have you said about it?
Well, I just don't get how she went from being like a wild card, absolutely nowhere, like just starting off in a career.
Like,
and she won the US Open, which was unbelievable, by the way. And she's suddenly like Britain's number one, ranked, I think, like top 20, top 10 in the world. And I'm like, you know, just because Leicester won the Premier League
doesn't make them the best.
Doesn't make them alongside Real Madrid. And I think so. I think it's probably something to do with the ranking points, because I don't get how Novak, he hasn't even played and yet now he's not number one anymore. I think that's a bit. I mean,
everyone knows it. I don't think he particularly gives a shit about it though. Like
Novak,
everyone knows he's the
man. Yeah, but talking about the rankings, Nadal's just dropped out the top 10 for the first time since 2005. I think that's like the end of an era now, isn't it?
Yeah, as soon as Federer retired, that era was finished for me.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just another little rubbing salt in the wounds to hear that. Like,
do you know what though? I don't really know any other tennis players now.
No, I don't.
I watch it when it's on, but I don't pay attention to the rising stars, or because there's just no one that's captivating us like what them three did. No, 100%, yeah. Well, Alcaraz, who's number one now, he's the young Spanish kid. They reckon he's the next Nadal. Yeah, he's quite exciting to watch, but 100% agree with you, mate. There are kind of 2 or 3 players that you can kind of go, wow. I suppose it's better for the sport that more people are level, but there's like, I like styles. That's why I like Federer so much. But those 3 all had such different styles as well, didn't they? Yeah. Talking about Raducanu as well, and Andy Murray have just been dumped out the first round of the Miami Open, which again isn't great for them. But the other little couple of stories from tennis I thought was interesting was, first off, a positive one, if I can say a name correctly, Navratilova. Go ahead, you can say it. Martina Navratilova. She's cancer free. She didn't think she was going to even see next Christmas, and she's now got the all clear. How old is she, do you know? I'm not sure. I do know she won 59 Grand Slam titles though. She was a beast. Absolute legend. I remember knew of her and stuff and that, but yeah, she's cancer free, which I think's great. She was the first proper female tennis superstar, yeah, superstar. So that's great to hear. And then something that's not so great to hear is the Russian star Sabalenka. She's come out and she said she's surprised by the locker room hate over the Russian-Ukraine war. Now, I get it, she's Russian, Sabalenka, but she's not sitting there pressing the buttons, dropping bombs. No. So for her to get a bit of abuse and a bit of shit in the locker room, I think's a bit, you know, what's she meant to do in that situation, like, you know? Do you know what I don't get about that is that those people, those tennis stars, they're removed from whatever news is going on in that part of the world. So obviously they've both got the sides, like who the fuck knows what's going on over there, but she might not even live in Russia anymore. That's what I mean. They're so far removed from it. You'd think that the politics wouldn't really play into the behaviour on the court, and she's apparently been getting a bit of shit in the locker room and stuff, and which sad, isn't it? Yeah, it's sad how it's, because sport's the kind of thing that separates us away from that. And gives us a bit of a break from the real world, but it just shows how far the pull is though from that type of thing that's happening in that part of the world. It's madness. Mate, into F1 only a couple of points, but it was the Bahrain and Saudi last two events, which saw the Red Bull get a 1-2 on both of them. They reckon this could be the fastest ever car. You're into your F1, are you? I'm a highlight watcher. Yeah, I'm a bit like that. I'm not. I can't watch cars go around the track for 2 hours. You know what
No, I
mean?
like the drama that Netflix
That
series
Netflix show's boss.
done that for me. Like the drama was great in that.
Yeah.
But Hamilton's finished 5th the last 2 events with
Yeah.
Red Bull getting a 1-2. I think Max is just going to smoke it again for Verstappen.
Yeah, it's the cars though, isn't it? The cars are meant to be not as good this year for Mercedes, and
this Red Bull one's just gone up another level. So
yeah, I mean it's sort of like football with the money aspect. I mean, saying that though, Mercedes must have.
I don't get how like they must do something and then one car automatically
Does
just
better.
goes well better.
Yeah,
because they're all loaded, aren't they? They're like,
I mean that's what I mean. Is it what they're investing on the engineering side, or
yeah,
but you're only as fast as your car, aren't you? Really?
yeah, and yeah, apparently Hamilton is like resigned to the fact that he's going to get smoked all season.
Yeah.
But Aston Martin have even taken over Mercedes' scene
Seems
as well.
like an excuse maker though.
Hamilton,
Yeah.
do you reckon?
I feel like he's been at the top for so long. He spits his dummy out at some point.
I suppose like you
That could be me too, and shit. He could be the nicest fella in the world.
I suppose you'd
The interviews I've seen of him, he seems like a bit of an excuse.
I'll do a little name drop. I met him once, spent like 10 minutes at his company, and he did seem like a nice guy for the 10 minutes I
Did he?
spent with him. What a way
Yeah.
to judge someone on the 10 minutes you
Yeah.
spent with him.
That's the only way to judge someone.
Yeah, I mean, he was nice enough with me. He might be an absolute bellend to
I
everyone
mean,
else.
he seems like a nice fella, but he's that competitive that on like Drive to Survive. Just he seems like a bit of a spoiled kid sometimes, and I suppose it just comes with the territory.
I think, listen, if you've been at number 1 for so long,
Yeah.
when someone does come and take your number 1 spot, it's not going to be nice, is
No.
it? So,
it's like that getting knocked out by in front of everyone.
yeah.
Become a bit bitter.
Yeah, of course, man.
But
And
again,
then-
we could be chatting shit. He could be
Let us know.
dead humble.
if you're listening, Lewis, let us know.
Sorry,
You're a nice
Lewis,
guy or what?
if that's offended you.
And then the other thing I seen in the world of sport, maybe was in snooker. Ronnie O'Sullivan's come out and said that snooker's in the worst place it's ever been.
It's crap.
Because I think he's on about there's been a lot of match fixing allegations going on last couple of months, and also it's just not very well publicised.
No.
It's like a kind of old man's game. It's not really for the young. Come up and anyway, then the snooker tour chairman has then fired back and said like, "Fucking hell, Ronnie, like, you know, we need ambassadors. We need people to like
To promote the
be
sport.
characters in the sport. You're going against what we're kind of trying to do here." So
Yeah.
Ronnie's basically, you know, called it for what it is.
Mm.
You know, called a duck, and then the chairman said, "Well, come on, it's not that bad, and we need you to build it up." So
Yeah.
they're both arguably right in that sense, but I would side with Ronnie in the sense that snooker does need a massive
Oh,
overhaul and just make it fun. Because I
don't even know if it's like,
I grew up watching snooker and
Same.
loved it. But
same.
do I watch any of it now? No.
No, not at all. I think it's just interest in the sport, like rather than making what we've got already. It just needs new blood. Like it's how do you market snooker? Do you know what I mean? It's
Make
just
it-
like
And that's where I think the chairman's coming to. You know, he needs characters.
yeah. I think it comes to branding as well though. Like is the snooker doing well on social media? Like who's promoting snooker? Do you know, like how do you make a good snooker reel
Yeah.
on Instagram? Do
Well, you know what?
I mean?
I mean, that's all I had on snooker. Finish off actually then on that, because with your job there, you're talking about reels and trying to make snooker sexy.
Yeah,
With your work, you're an artist. You know, you're kind of selling your artwork online.
yeah.
It goes on your kind of reels on what you're putting out. I mean, how do you kind of do that?
So I just, for me, making videos is like more enjoyable to me now than making the artwork itself. Like I've sort of become like a content creator rather than an artist, which is mad. Since I've been full time on it, but
You're in
Don't-
touch with the snooker lad.
to get in touch with the snooker, do you know what? I've actually got a few people I speak to and like consult on businesses who want to convert, you know, views to sales. So I couldn't do the job on snooker though. It's too much of a tough task, but just getting people interested in the technical aspects of the game is the way sort of I do well on social media. Because I said to you before, I can sit there and watch a goal in slow motion and just get proper excited about it, and I can look at it from 10 different angles and then draw it and then say something good about it. So it's just people who are passionate about snooker need to get involved in that scene. People who work at this worldwide snooker federation, I don't know what it's fucking called, but
I feel it.
do you know what I mean? That there's got to be, you've got to lean into the people who are passionate about the sport, and that's where the content creation. I'm sure there's, like, if anyone knows anyone who does snooker content. Like,
It's an interesting one though, innit? Because like you say, for someone like yourself doing content and that, and getting people involved, I've seen the stuff that you do where you go back and you kind of draw great goals, and it does, because you think, oh, I remember that goal, and then you'll draw it and you think, fucking that's boss that. So,
but to be honest, I could do a shot in snooker, a video about a single shot in snooker, and it'd get good views. So it's just a matter of seeing it from an angle that's interesting and that people are passionate about. I just don't like snooker, so it's, I wouldn't do it. Like, I don't know whether I'd make any sales of it, but that's what it needs. It needs more passion and content's everything these days in it. So
it is, mate. Callie, mate, I've enjoyed having you on.
Yeah, same. Being here.
For those who aren't aware of Callie yet, what's your Instagram?
It's @CallieUA on all platforms.
Callie will hopefully be coming in again over the next few weeks again, talking all things sport, and again getting more artwork up in the studio. After he made me feel guilty that his artwork that we do have in the studio is just not in shot.
Some product placement in the back.
But the work that you're doing, Callie, for anyone who does want to get involved, what type of work are you doing with just different businesses, different creators?
To be honest, mate, like I said, it started out as just me selling artwork online just for a living. That's always what I've wanted to do, but the website's getting sort of that many eyeballs on it now that I'm in a bit of a position where I'm having discussions with local businesses that have got sports companies, and I'm putting other services on the website. So start of April, I've partnered with a coaching company that offer qualifications in sport to young people who want a career in sport, basically. So what they'll be able to do is go to the website and apply for those courses directly on the site. So because my audience is getting bigger and the views are coming in, I'm sort of in a position where I can offer that to companies and say, look, you're getting X amount of eyeballs a month on the site. Do you want to come and promote your products and services? But it has to be stuff that I'm passionate about, you know what I mean? Sport, education, art, business. So it's sort of changing. It's gone from just an art website to a website that is going to be like a central hub for sport. So
offering different services.
Yeah, like even companies like yourself, you know, people who have got something to say in the sports world, and like someone just passing away next door there. Any companies that have got a sports based service or product, if they want to look into offering services on the website, they're going to get a lot of eyeballs. And with that, I've got other creators that I've partnered with as well now that are going to be doing featured blog posts on there. So what that'll involve is them giving away free products on the site from time to time, heavily discounted prices on merch, services and educational services that you just can't find anywhere else. So again, it's sort of turning into like a hub for sport, but it's going to be a place where you can get a lot of stuff for free if you're into sports, and from, like I said, merch to services to PTs to educational courses as well. So it's exciting.
It's good, lads.
It's going well.
Like I say, I'm sure we'll learn more about it over the next few weeks.
Defo.
But Cal, again, thanks again for your time, mate. And
no worries.
Thank you to everyone who was stuck with the Legged podcast, stuck with the Sportcast. Apologies, it's been away for a few weeks, but we are back with some changes and ready to roll on. See you next week.